do the prayer first.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead and pray.
We just like
Please stand.
three chimps following each other here.
Take each and every one of our minds today, Lord, to help us make the decision that's right for the citizens of this town, Lord. And just touch each and every one of us tonight in a heavenly way, God. And we thank you for all the many blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Daddy stand. That's right.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all for coming. Get started. First, approval of minutes.
You got any peppermints in the front?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Yes.
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 Okay, we'll go ahead and start. We'll move it up for public comments.
That's what we thought we did for prayer and pledge allegiance, well.
Okay. Charlotte's not coming, but Crab Orchard, Crossroads Engineer, she let, I guess she let her work.
First started in the snow.
Okay, then we'll do the,
Okay. There's a notice in your package for annual or semi-annual, I think, of the Gilmore Regional Suppers, if any of you are interested. It's in the envelope in your package. Also in your packet is a copy of the letter that you directed me written to the school at the meeting. Just copy that letter there. Also, I would like to mention and encourage and hope that the council can speak to people and get a chance to encourage their residents to clean up their property and throughout this upcoming mowing season to keep the property mowed on a regular basis in compliance with town ordinance. And also, we previously had an agreement with the clinic for drug testing. We primarily use that for new hirees and an employee had an accident, we require that. The clinic doesn't do that drug testing anymore. The last one we had done, we actually sent them down to the hospital. But there is a group in Hassel called Hudson Drug Testing. They do it for the town of Hassel. They charge us $45 per uneventful on-site urine drug screen, and they do it on-site, it's $45. They have a contract with the town of Hassel, and they would like to do that for the town, and they have an agreement that we signed to use them for 1 year if we do that. I would recommend that they've been talking to me for a couple of years. But unless you all have any other suggestions, I would suggest for that price, and in fact it's on site, that we contact with them. Yeah, they do it on site. Anytime, 24/7 if we need it. Do on site.
It's on an at-need basis?
Yes. Yeah.
she only paying.
So is that
Right.
62?
Right, exactly. That's the drug testing.
I make a motion.
No, we're just trying to make that up.
I second it.
I've got,
Okay, got a comment, go ahead.
well, I'm just concerned, I don't know these folks, I don't have anything against them, but, I was just wondering about their protocol and everything. 'cause
Yeah, it's all in there. They very carefully use proper protocol.
You know, one of the things I always have to concern myself with is what's at
Yeah,
stake in court if it ever has to be offered in evidence in court.
They're very focused on that.
You reckon it could be adopted subject to me reporting back to the town manager that it's not got any legal problems to it?
I think so.
You want to make
I made my motion.
motion to approve, subject to being approved by the town attorney.
Second.
Second.
Yes.
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 And you, if you want us to talk to someone that utilize them, they've done the town taxes for. Let's see. Also, on our T21 project, it's kind of an exciting point in that project. We have finally got the Indian Park area ready to begin, or the part that we were wanting to do up front, ready to begin phase 3 of the T21 project, which is the Indian Park and Trail. That phase 3 will have a revised total budget of around $780,902. The federal share of that total is $623,232.50. That has already been approved. The 20% match required of that amount would be $156,180.43. And we have the records I've detailed, we have around $179,000 that we have already spent matching funds. So I've already contacted VDOT and Hill Studios, and we are scheduling a meeting to actually begin the kickoff for their project. The very first thing I want to do is verify that all of our matching expenditures qualify, that they're in order. We want to look very closely at the conservation easement that was included subsequent to this application and this grant on the property we got from the Nature Conservancy to see if we have to change or adjust the scope of the project any. So anyway, we do have, we're in the process of setting up meetings with VDOT and Hill Studio to get things rolling on phase 3. And that's it.
Where do we stand on phase 1?
Pardon?
They come down there.
Oh, yeah, Lee was mentioning the fish ladder. Several years ago, when we had a chemical spill in town, service company spilled a chemical into the keel on the Clinch River, they had to pay a fairly substantial settlement for that event, and the United States Fish and Wildlife Service has control of those funds. And one of the things they've been talking about for several years is putting the fish ladder on the dam down at the old mill. The new owners of the old mill were very interested in getting that done, so I contacted U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service about that, and they have met with the owners of the old mill property, so very possible something worked out to get the fish ladder installed there.
It'll be a good thing, actually.
Got the handicap,
I've looked up
get
some
some
reviews
suckers
on
up
it.
there.
Exciting.
It brings people into town, you sit there and one
Good
day,
point
watch
there.
thousands of fish jump that ladder. I mean, it's unreal. They spawn like 3 times more than what they normally would, so. It's a good thing, they're wanting to help anyways.
Can I ask where we stand at on phase 1 as far as completing that?
We have just a couple little small things to close out, and we've been waiting on Hill Studio to get here and close that out for 3 or 4 years. And I told Hill Studio when I called them, you know, maybe this will get you down here to close out phase 1 since we're starting phase 3. So I'll also be making sure they get that done while they're here. We have a little section of curb to fix and some brickwork, but just a couple minor things to close out phase 1. Of course, VDOT's aware of that too, so hopefully we can get that done in the process now that we'll have Hill Studio back on site. That's been the whole problem.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Next is payment of bill approved.
I didn't mention a few of those. Check 2485 Speedy Loop, over 600 of that one was for service of the diesel truck, garbage truck. 24819 Design Digital Printing. Once every couple years or so, we have to order envelopes, forms, receipts, and things for the office, and that's what that's for. 24824 Purchase Power. That's postage for the postage machine, and that's postage we use for everything except utility bills. The very next item, Postmaster Cedar Bluff, permit postage, which is strictly used for utility bills, and that'll last us for several months. 24830 through Blanton Associates, that's their annual audit. And that's pretty much it, unless you have questions.
24821, what's that?
That's chemicals, chlorine testing chemical kits that Rick uses with the water department.
Okay.
24813 Walmart.
That is for,
Phone cards, huh?
I think most all of that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, phones. We get 6-month phone service at a time for each phones, and that's what that's for. That's for our cell phones. 6 months plans on that.
24808, Utility Service Company.
That's our quarterly maintenance contract on our water tanks.
Unless there's any more questions, I'd like to make a motion if we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
I've got a question. I noticed it in, like in the town charter, it says that we're not supposed to be paying anybody that owes any monies to the town. And I'm just curious, have all these checks been screened to where any of the recipients of these checks don't have any indebtedness to the town of Cedar Bluff?
No.
I've noticed within the last couple months that after having reviewed the tax tickets and things like that there does seem to me to be some checks going out to people who have indebtedness to this town. And the town charter specifically states that we don't do that. Matter of fact, 3-9184 says to protect the interest of the town, that the duty of the treasurer is to protect the interest of the town by withholding the payment of any claim or demand by any person, firm, or corporation against the town until any indebtedness or other liability due from such person, firm, or corporation shall first have been settled and adjusted. I just don't think that we should be using the citizens of Cedar Bluff's money to pay people for goods and services when they actually owe the town themselves money. And in fact, the town charter seems to back me up on that viewpoint, I would think. I believe that's what it means, Mr. Carmody. I defer to you if that is what it means, that we're supposed to withhold those type payments if people owe money to the town.
Yeah, I think that would be a good policy, even if it's not verbatim.
I have a motion on the floor to pay.
Yeah, he made it and I seconded it.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Here is the motion.
To pay the bills.
Sure.
Town department report.
Police Department patrolled 2,283 miles this month. They answered 31 calls and had 7 accidents. And let's see, some of it is they issued. That's right in there. Looks like they issued. Mr. Shorts issued some summonses. I think he issued 4 summonses this month. I know Mr. Shorts told me what I did.
It's not here, here's the fire department. 4 monthly meetings, responded to 2 calls during the month. Kind of working on the ISO report. All those tests were done. So accounts for total hours of meeting training 82, notice testing of 96 hours responding to the incidents 15. And don't know if they have a solid date on the ISO inspection. It's probably the last of March, or it was sometime in the last of March. And the water board from Utilities Department installed 60 feet of 2 feet line under the Indian Creek Road. Plus installed one in 1.5 inch and 1 leak detector, 1.5 inch valve and leak detector meter. That was discussed last meeting. Repaired 1 service leak line, repaired 1 main leak line, ran leak detection with the BRWA throughout the whole system. That's where they found the line of the main leak. And all samples come back negative for any contaminants, meaning the town's in compliance with the VDH and other water is safe for consumption.
And let me add that Crossroads Engineering intends to apply a new round of grant funding from Virginia Department of Health this fall. So we do intend to apply for new grant funds in this year, so we're looking forward to that. And they want to get at least one phase of the current grant proceeds closed out before we make the application, and hopefully we'll have the Schrader Road part of that done.
See? Good. All right, next. Go ahead. Somebody say something.
That's it.
Next, unfinished business.
I'm going to touch on the taxes one more time if I may, and then I'll let them go till the budget comes back around. And this is just basically on how these taxes are being credited towards these accounts that have taxes due. It looks to me like that they're not being applied to the oldest or most delinquent taxes as they come in. In other words, say for instance that if someone had a 2012 and 2015 taxes they owed and the 2016 taxes, when they're paid, they're being credited to the 2016 taxes. Virginia Code 58.13913 tells how these taxes are supposed to be applied, and they say that that code section says that, in part, unless otherwise provided by ordinance of the governing body, any payment of local levies received shall be credited first against the most delinquent local account, of which is not subject to a defense of an applicable state statute of limitations. And I'm just curious, has there been an ordinance passed by this council to allow the crediting of those of collected taxes to the most recent taxes rather than the most delinquent taxes as this code seems to require? Does that make sense? In other words, we're crediting our taxes as they come in to the most current taxes. When this section of Virginia Code, to me, and again, Mr. Carmody, I'll pass it down to you, or you may be familiar with it. To me, it specifically states that unless this governing body has moved to do different, those taxes have to be credited against the oldest taxes first, and then, even then, they're not to be applied to those that have a defense of a statute of limitations. And apparently, after our discussions last month, that we are applying some of those taxes against some that have went beyond the statute of limitations. And I'd like to see us either pass the ordinance to do them the way we're doing them, or change what we're doing to conform with this Virginia Code. So I guess my first question is, and I didn't give you a chance to answer, I just kept rambling on, has this council passed an ordinance allowing those to be credited to the most current taxes rather than the oldest taxes?
I'm not aware of an ordinance like that.
It seems to me then what we need to do is either do an ordinance or change how we're crediting to those accounts.
So you're saying if you owed 10, 15, 16, they should pay 10?
I
Is
think
that what you're saying?
According to this code, the way I understand this code, now I'll defer to Mr. Carmody if I'm right again or wrong this time or whatever.
Currently, our taxes are applied according to the request or the receipt, tax receipt that's with the payment. If the check comes in to pay a 2009 tax ticket, that's what's credited. If it comes in paying a 2016 tax bill, that's the way it's credited, to my knowledge.
And if that's going,
So if they mail a check in for 2016, you can't use it for 2012?
Well, but I think that if we were to check around, we would probably find that most other places apply it to the oldest debt first. And the reason for that is because you don't want the statute of limitations to run out on the oldest ones while somebody just pays on the new one and waits for the old ones to go dead. So you always apply it to the oldest ones first while they're still collectible before the time runs out.
And of course, in our case, we have always
Even
collected
the
them.
IRS does that.
We have.
If you owe for several years and you send them a check, they put it against the oldest tax that you owe. Because the clock runs on taxes. if they don't, then the time comes when you can't collect the old ones anymore, you're time barred.
Which I guess that would bring up my second question to you, Mr. Carmody. I'd like to hear your opinion as to our policy of making efforts to collect these unenforceable taxes where the statute of limitations has passed. Should we continue to do that? I guess would be my question in bluntly. In your opinion.
Well, I don't know if it's supposed to be our responsibility to determine when the statute passes. You know, when people sue you in court or something like that, the statute of limitations is considered to be what they call a statute of repose, and unless the defending party asserts it, then you know, the matter goes forward, statute of limitations notwithstanding. So, I mean, I'd be happy to read that with you and to see whether or not we're bound to have to assert that on behalf of people that owe us money. I'd hate to do it.
So I guess what you're saying is that it's up to the taxpayer to enlighten himself to that fact.
Well, like I say, I'd like to read it with you and see if maybe we could, you know, not knock ourselves out of money that maybe should have been paid to us.
I'm not
I
aware
don't
of
want
this.
to do anything that's illegal for the town, but, you know, I'd hate to let go of that if we didn't have to let go of it.
I'm not aware of us ever forfeiting payment for any taxes since I've been spent. I'm not aware of any instances where we did.
Does that include personal property taxes?
We don't write off any taxes, so I'm not aware of ever the statute of limitations keeping us from taking payment from someone. Us taking people to court's another matter, but we receive the payments that are afforded to us. And we always include all taxes on a real estate when the check is done.
Well, I'd like to look at that with you, Mr. Carmody, just to get your opinion on
Oh,
it
yeah.
at some point, okay? So I guess I go back to the original question of, do we want to continue doing what we're doing? If so, I feel that we need to pass an ordinance. Would that be correct? But if not, and we're going to be compliant with Virginia code, then we need to change how we're doing things and start crediting these to the oldest taxes to be compliant with Virginia code. I'm agreeable to either one, I mean, but we need to be compliant with the law, I feel, in our policies and procedures. Either pass the ordinance and continue what we're doing, or change what we're doing.
Is the ordinance really required to comply with the law?
I'll defer to Mr. Carmody.
What Mr. Altizer was reading, I think, says that the state mandated way of collecting and applying it is that it goes to the oldest ones first, unless you have an ordinance that says otherwise. So in order to keep doing what we're doing, which is not apply it to the oldest ones first, we would have to adopt an ordinance that describes some other method of applying it.
That's what I was saying, but you say it a lot better than I do.
Oh, you said it pretty well.
Skip around a little bit.
But the first order of business would be to put it on the agenda, because, you know, matter of practice, we don't make a rule on a new ordinance without it having been on the agenda for reasons that have been made clear in the past from people out here to us, that, and number two, to allow everybody to give an opinion on it before we actually vote. I mean, I'd like to have some feedback from Jim inside here, maybe give him an opportunity to feedback, but that would be the thing I think if you wanted to vote on, is we need to get on the agenda. Because if we don't, we're just going against what we agreed to not be voting on things, on, you know, an ordinance that doesn't give,
The biggest issue there is just going to be record keeping issue. It's always gonna be partial payments. If you do it that way, you're not gonna have completely paid tax tickets, so you have to keep up with different partial payments. Plus, our records is not gonna match the taxpayers' records. So that's something we have to, it's just gonna be a record keeping issue if you do it that way. Because currently, we credit it to the ticket that comes in that they're paying.
But keep doing it that way, we have to have it.
I don't think it's not a huge issue. Not many people just leave an old tax ticket and pay new one, so it's not something that happens, routinely. That a person would choose to just be paying current tax tickets and not be paying older ones, but it does happen occasionally.
I'm not really familiar with it. If somebody comes in to pay their current one, they give me a slip on once.
Usually they mail in or bring in the ticket that they're paying. Most of them are paid by mail.
Yeah.
It's, the check comes with the ticket they're paying, and that's what we always credited it to.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
I make the mo-
Law-wise, I don't know. Do you want to
I
make-
didn't mean to jump over top of everything. I make the motion that we put it on the agenda for next month then.
Got a second?
I don't think that needs an ordinance to put something on the
Have to
agenda.
have to put it on the agenda, I don't believe.
You don't have to have a vote to put on the agenda?
We don't have to vote on that.
Oh, we just need it on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Bear with me, that's my third month, I'm trying to understand
We
everything.
need to vote, put something on the agenda, do we?
If you all want it on there, we'll just put it on.
I mean, any one of
That's
us.
what I'm saying, I thought you had to vote to put it on.
Any one of us can request something on the agenda.
Okay, I misunderstood, I apologize.
I mean, that's my impression.
Well, I think our public meeting policy says the town council will not take any action on items unless of course it's public comments, but unless the council votes to add the item to the
No,
agenda.
I'm saying.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor, right here, second. No second.
I asked that somebody second it, so
Well, wait a
we can
minute,
deal with
let's-
this.
Yeah.
Well, we can't.
I believe the part that Jim just read, though, refers to the public
It is
comments.
public comment, but it's,
The only part of the agenda is that where you have the power to control what goes on the agenda, I believe. It's the only thing I'm,
Look at that, a motion to put something on the agenda.
well, it's a good way to find out if you all want it on the agenda, so there's certainly nothing prohibiting you from taking a vote if you want to do so.
I'll second that motion. We'll find out if it gets on there or whatever your votes are.
yes?
I don't know what the deal is.
No.
Terry?
Yes?
Yes.
One second, I want yes.
Yes.
We need to find out where an ordinance is.
I know the county don't, even if it's past 20 years, because the only thing's been there for 28 years, they charge for 28 years taxes.
Any more unfinished business? Okay, next is new business.
I have a couple things, new business. I was approached about the town making a donation to the future business leaders, Richland High School, to help assist them in one to the state competition. They won the county competition, won to state competition. And I thought maybe the town could maybe just donate them $100. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
How much more budgeted donations do we have for the year?
$100 is what we have available.
I'm sorry?
$100 is what we still have available that we have not allocated.
Okay, I'm just looking on here and it shows that 10,600 was budgeted, is that correct? And we had, year-to-date is 10,000 so far?
Now, the amount year-to-date includes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at income. Let me Let me get on the right page here. I'm looking at the wrong one. Donations.
What Mr. Officer was looking at. Now, this is on the contingency that they send us a letter of request. So I don't have a written letter of request, but this is on the contingency that they send that to.
They're supposed to be getting the Christmas week.
That was just a verbal request.
I'm not finding it right now.
Okay, I got a second.
Need a vote.
Team?
Yes.
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 Now, the second issue is, not issue, I guess, is, I understand that the Board of Supervisors is going to fund the town of Cedar Bluff for Danny's position for school traffic.
Yeah, I mean, the board of supervisors made the, because I guess they help with the schools, and of course, it's our area, John's one of
Did he give the amount, was it 4,000 a year?
Yeah, which, I think it was four. They do have the, if we do approve it, they do have a check, I mean, they'll pay it. So it's just for the, him doing the school traffic, it's not for him volunteering for us all the time, so.
If we do that, this council needs to actually create that part-time position for us to pay.
I'll make a motion to create that
Part-time
part-time
school traffic.
Part-time school traffic, contingent on the funding from the
Second.
county.
I'll second that. Wow, second.
Yes.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Any more new business?
I've got just a question on the financial information that's being provided in our councilman packet. The auditor was here last month, and according to the numbers that she gave, the town started this fiscal year with $127,000. By looking through the financial information in the packet, the best I can ascertain is that we have about $114,000 now. To me, that would suggest that so far this year, we're about $13,000 in the red for this fiscal year. However, when I look on over in the financial information, it looks to me like it shows that the governmental fund for the year is $22,000 into the black, and the water sewer garbage fund is $50,000 into black. So if you add those two numbers, that would suggest that the town is $72,000 in the black for the year. But if you look at our cash reserves, which have fallen by about $13,000, that would suggest that we're in the red for the year. So I'm pretty much confused, and I don't understand the discrepancy. I know in my household, if my documents show that I'm bringing in more money than I'm putting out, my cash balances should be increasing, not decreasing. And I don't understand the financial information. I have looked into it enough to know that that our financial information in our councilman's packet does not show the budgeted expenses of our debt payments, our FHA loan and our fire department loan. It looks to me like if you take $13,000 that our cash shows that we're in the red, and the $72,000 that the financial information shows we're in the black, there's a discrepancy of about $85,000 there. I can find about 45 of it, and that is where the debt payments are not being shown as an expense. But I can't find the other 40,000 discrepancy. And I don't know. For us to be able to make sound decisions, whether to donate money to this or to that, I think it would be really beneficial if we could look at these documents and say, are we in the red or are we in the black? And with our cash balances showing we have $13,000 less cash than we started the year, I don't understand how our budgeted expenses and revenues show that we're $72,000 in the black. And I'd just like some explanation on that. I mean, was anything that I said there not accurate as far as the information that's provided in our councilman's packet? I mean, if we look at the cash that it shows the water sewer garbage fund has and the general fund has, I get a total of about $114,000. And it looks like what these documents show. That's the financial statements that we're being provided on a monthly basis. It looks like the governmental fund is $22,000 in the black for the year. Water sewer garbage is $50,000 in the black. But I don't see how we can be $72,000 in the black, but our cash balances have failed by $13,000.
All right. Since it's all new business. Good. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Second. Ken?
Yes.
Yes.
Nobody's wanting to get a hold of that.
Did I do well?
Yes.